I know we're about to create something that's pretty cool here, and I want the energy captured. I want you to feel it. In other words, this experience that we're creating can be pretty magical. And just know that. Like, we show up on Sunday, but I want everybody to show up on Sunday. I want us collectively to create something that's pretty amazing and magical. So, I don't know, maybe a healing, maybe a transformation, maybe an insight, maybe an awareness, maybe some tears. There's some tears that might need to come out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something happens that you just walk away from our gathering space and something touches you or something changes you. Because the truth is, when we show up to do this thing together, we never know what's going to happen, because Spirit has an interesting way of tapping us on the shoulder and saying, hey, you should probably pay attention to this. Anybody ever have one of those experiences where all of a sudden you're reading a book, you're listening to a song, you're talking to a friend, and something says, hey, you should probably really be paying attention to this? And so that's the beautiful journey, because as we begin to walk our own journey, our own way home, if you will, that's what I call it, and several other people have called it, we never know exactly what that's going to look like, because for each and every one of you, although we've been told that there is a particular way that it's supposed to look, what we understand here is that's not true. What do I mean by that? I mean that each and every one of us has our own way of figuring it out. And who am I, above all people, to sit there and tell you what that's supposed to look like? You're never going to hear those words come out of my mouth, ever. Why? Because in my own journey, if you heard my own journey, and I know I've shared a lot of it with you over the years, but if you heard mine, it's probably not going to look anything like yours at all. And yet, underneath it, and here's what I do know is consistent, I absolutely know this, that when all of a sudden you decide to make right here the priority, and your connection to God your priority, what's going to happen is things are going to start to show up. Things are going to start to tap you on the shoulder. Things are going to start to tell you, pay attention. And I don't know what that's going to look like for you. I have no idea what that's going to look like for you. But here's what I know. I know who you are. And when I say that, I don't mean the personality. I'm talking about the spirit of who and what you are. And when you start tapping into that thing, that is going to open up a whole new world for you. And that whole new world is something that all of the great masters have talked about. Certainly Jesus, certainly Buddha, and there's many, many, many others that have talked and spoken about throughout the history of mankind, and they all have the same thing, that all of them, when you really study it, at the heart of it, is they all tell you the same thing, that inside of us, we all have this peace that's guiding you home. It's our way home. And when we start paying attention to it, then all of a sudden it will start. In other words, when you start to connect with that part of yourself, it will start to guide you. And it will start to tell you what to pay attention to. And it will tell you what it's time to let go of. And it will tell you which way to go. And the thing that's so beautiful, and this is one of the things I love, and this is why I'm so grateful to be doing my part. And by the way, just because I'm up here and I'm doing this, doesn't mean that my part is any more important than the part that you're doing. That will never happen. As long as I'm here, it's never going to be about Mike. It's not. It's going to be about you and what's inside of you. That's the important thing. And so when we come together as a community, as a group of people that say, guess what? We want to be in community. We want to live in a spiritual community. It was so fun this morning as I was pulling in off the road, and I look at the big sign that says Unity Spiritual Community. And I thought to myself, community. We're a spiritual community. Well, what exactly does that mean, to be a spiritual community? And I'm sure if I were to go to each and every one of you and say, so what does it mean for you to be in a spiritual community? Everybody would have their own answer. Because for everybody, it's different. Whether you're meeting us in person here or you're meeting us online, which, by the way, hi, online people. Community, to me, a spiritual community is we get to talk about all the weird stuff that nobody else is talking about. This is a home where you can come in and you can say stuff. Like, for example, I was just listening to a podcast, telepathy tape. Anybody listening to those? Oh my God, incredible. If you haven't, look out, put your seatbelt on. But it was cool because they were talking about near-death experiences. And that fascinates me. I don't know about you, but man, near-death experiences fascinate me. And there's been a couple of incredible stories in the last 10 or 15 years. Books have been written about these people's experiences and the near-death experiences they've had, and they're fascinating. Well, guess what? I can't talk about that stuff during the day to most people, because if I do, guess what their eyeballs are going to do? Oh my God. But when you're in a spiritual community, guess what gets to happen? You get to be able to talk about this stuff, and you're not going to be considered the freak or the weird one or anything else like that. No, you know why? Because we collectively have decided that we can talk about this stuff. And who knows, maybe that's not your thing, and it's okay, it doesn't have to be your thing. But maybe doing metaphysical interpretation of the Bible is your thing, or maybe Course in Miracles is your thing, or maybe the Way of Mastery is your thing, or maybe there was a great big group of us that just went out into Lake Odessa on Tuesday night, and we sat inside of an energy healing room that was freaking amazing. For those of you who went, maybe that's your thing. But it doesn't matter. We're able to come in here and do what often doesn't happen in our day-to-day lives. And for me, I love it because this is really a part of my life. This is what I do. And what I'm inviting everybody to do is to jump in, regardless of what that looks like for you. If it's coming here on Sunday mornings and that's it for you and that fills your heart, I'm happy. There's not going to be any judgment. There's nobody taking attendance. I promise you, you're not going to get a phone call from me or anybody else going, "Where are you?" We don't do that here. But what we do is we come together and we get to share the space, and we get to create something for me that I've dreamed of doing, which is coming together and having an opportunity for people to have these discussions, have experiences. Yes, we have had people experience miracles in this space, legitimately miracles. I just had a conversation, Susan brought this to my attention, that, the healing circles that we do on Sundays once a month, how many people have been to those healing circles? A few of you, great. So often you do those healing circles, I don't know, I do them and it feels like, did we really do anything? Because often that's a question with spirit. When you do something, you're like, well, did anything really happen? And all of a sudden, Susan gets a phone call from a minister from another church that came here for the healing circle. The guy's been on medication for over 25 years of his life. He came to the healing circle? No more. No more. We had another person that showed up, and this was really cool a couple of months ago. Somebody came. Again, what happens is these people come in randomly, and all of a sudden they leave, and I don't hear anything. And all of a sudden I had somebody show up at our service and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know something. I got a friend of mine that showed up one time, came into the healing circle. They've been struggling with whatever it was. I don't remember. Gone." So is that always going to happen? I don't know. But what I do know is that didn't happen because of me. It happened because of us. Because we got together, a group of us got together and said, hey, what would happen if we just sat a bunch of people in a circle that needed healing, and there was some people around a circle, and we create the circle for the people that want and need some healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And what if we just sat there, and I call it zapped them? What if we did that? What would happen if we invited God in, and we called in the healing angels, and we kind of made it a little thing? What would happen if we did that? And guess what? Some stuff happened. So I don't know what it is for you. I don't know what your journey is. I don't know what your soul's looking for, but I promise you this, it's looking for something. And our hope and prayer, and I mean this from the bottom of our heart, our hope and prayer is that you find this place to be a safe place where you can be held, where you can transform, and where you can grow. And I think if we do that, I think if we create the community that can do that, I think we're doing a pretty good job.